Hey guys, okay, I'm back. Let's see. I wanted to talk about the government and the influence that the government has on your life. Now, I know you all may say, well, everywhere we go, the government has an influence on our life, and to certain extents it does. But I really wanted to let you all know that I should be giving you a question, and I want you to ask yourself a question so that you can determine a better solution for yourself. And maybe you'll be able to start thinking more abundantly, such as having other ways to think about how you can start changing your life around, perhaps. Not that you aren't already changing your life around, but how much influence does the government really have on your life if you are trying to prosper in a world that is not fulfilling up to their promises because of an establishment that was built based on congressmen who made rules that would be best for other people's lifestyle, even though we all had our own ways of surviving and trying to stay involved with the things that made more sense within our lifestyle. Because let's just be honest, you have a government that is promising many workers who go to work from 9 to 5 every day, if not longer. They have promised them many years for higher pay. They have promised them many years that they would have more abilities within housing, which is like finding housing. And let's just be honest, people who are single who have no children, they it's harder for them to find housing than it is for a family that has children. People with actual families. Um, if I go put in an application at a local housing authority and I tell them that I'm not married, I don't have any children, and even though I do have, a high school diploma, I've been to college, even though I have everything like that, it's almost like they will not assist you or me if I don't have any children. I could be on the streets for literally 5 years and have all the qualifications, and I could have a job, and it still wouldn't make me move up to the front of the line to get immediate housing because I don't have any children. And as you can see, there are plenty of places to live and to rent a house, or a duplex or a townhouse, or um, an apartment. It's many places, but a lot of people are disabling that because of the lack of the amount of years that you have in your report, in your application, that shows that you have worked long enough. Not to mention the people who just decided to start work and have been laid off from a job previously, and they needed to start somewhere and they needed to find housing immediately, and they may not have been working there that long, but they do have the money, the deposit saved up. A lot of people do not care because they want you to have documentation that shows that you're capable of paying your rent, or you're capable of living up to what your documentation says. So I immediately think that by us putting all of our time into something like that, we are gambling our own lifestyle, because there are resources that may be capable of helping us really pursue our living status. And it looks like the way that the system is set up, where they are limiting certain individuals from receiving certain services because of a system that is allowing you to have a certain process, no matter if you already have that process, you have everything that the process wants you to have. But the fact that it's not listed on a piece of paper and documentation, I mean, you can have $1 million and you can be applying for a house, and they said, well, you don't even have a job that's been labeled within documentation that you've been there long enough, so we're not allowed to assist you. But yeah, but I can pay my rent up for the first 10 years. But see, the system, well, is designed to not really fully benefit us. So I wanted to ask you all, like, how much do you think the influence of the government has impacted your life in a positive way, in a good way? Because does the government really, truly have an effect on your life? Do you really trust the government for everything that you do? I mean, there's a lot of things, as you can see, I've already mentioned about people not having the pay that they deserve. They can come to work and they say, well, we're paying you $10 an hour. Oh, but after taxes, we're going to take out $2. So really, you're getting paid $8, if less than that. And then, they weren't living up to their promises, because you signed a paper saying that you would be agreeing to pay for such and such, but then you also agreed to pay taxes off of the money that you're working for. And then when it's time to file taxes, you're even taxed on that. And it's like, I thought taxes was me getting the money back that I was paying taxes on from the money that I was working with. So why can't I get all of that back? Well, that needs to be taxed. Are you serious? So that is a system that is really not qualified enough for benefiting our prosperity, a prosperous lifestyle that God wants us to have, because we worked for something, and then we are having to pay for what we just worked for, which is insane for someone to pay for something that they have worked for and then get taxed just to only go spend the money at stores to feed their families and be taxed at another store. So it's a tax over top of tax. And I'm like, who came up with this tax idea? And I'm pretty sure we all know who came up with this tax idea. Taxation without representation, or whatever it's called, if I'm saying that right, it was just an older system that was designed around a Confederate law that enabled people to live off of, but it did not benefit anyone financially. It did not benefit anyone the fullest available and best way that it could have, because they were taking money back out of what they were giving the people for going to work for them. And I think that is just absolutely insane. Like, I would drive myself crazy, and actually I have drove myself crazy, because I just decided to leave work and I decided to go do something else completely different, and I just couldn't see myself continuing the same process over and over again. It just wasn't going to happen. So another thing I wanted to ask was, like, do you really like strongly believe that the government has your back 100%? Some of you all may say, no, of course the government doesn't have your back 100%. And some of you may say, yeah, it does. But is it really something that you feel is controlling your life? Does the government control your life? That's the good question. That is going to be my title, actually. Does the government control you, or do you control the government? Now, let's just think reality here. It's a little bit of both. Okay? You can control the government. If something doesn't apply to you that you won't be able to get in trouble for, which they tell you you're going to be in trouble, because a lot of times the government can scare you into doing something, and then there's a consequence that's going to be paid, but really there weren't any consequences paid, because people have learned to forgive certain things and move on, but the consequence was on a documentation saying that if you didn't do this, so it's almost like people just made up the rules as they went along with life. And it's almost like their favoritism, because they're only going to chastise a certain person, or may chastise a certain person for not following a rule that is told for them to follow, that is listed in a documentation somewhere. And that's going to cause way more issues and way more problems if you sit there and you believe it, and if you allow a system to control you. Some people have found a way to get away from a controlled system that was putting fear into them. For instance, not paying taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, then you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna go to jail for fraud. And I'm like, okay, I've met someone who said they haven't filed their taxes in years, so they have not been to jail. So it's almost like, are we leaving the system? Are we really controlling the system ourselves, or are the system controlling us? I mean, it's a little bit of both, because we fear certain things that the government tell us not to do, and we actually do certain things that they tell us to. And then it's sometimes it's the other way around, and we don't do what they tell us to do, and sometimes we do, and it's just like, okay, so who's controlling us? Are we controlling them, or are they controlling us? A lot of people like to say the government is not controlling them. A lot of people like to say there's no way in the world that I'm going to allow this paying taxes, not keeping the money that I work for, and I can make more money by having my own business on the side of the street without having to worry about the government taking my money away from me. You know, um, but unfortunately, people still have gas. People still need to go get their driver's license. People still need to go pay their rent, or whatever the case may be. So you're actually utilizing the government in some way, and a lot of people may be very um, confused because the government has, made it seem as if you didn't follow certain rules and regulations, even though it's a decision that you have to make your life better the best way that you can for yourself. People have made their own decisions, and then sometimes the government has certain, directions for you to follow that is a little bit better than yours. And that's okay. That's why I said that, you can take what the government says, you can take what you say, you can do a little bit of both. But I wouldn't evolve my entire life, my whole freedom, over the government when they have failed us so many times and promised us so many things and have not fulfilled them. I would really, really consider people who don't want that to happen to them to leave a system and do something completely different. So, does the government really, really control you, or do you control the government? Because it's a game. It's a game. There is no way that people can just, well, there is a way. There is a way that people can just escape the government, but I mean, some people just, they everything that they hear in the news, they believe. And I quit believing everything I heard in the news, because some things you can look at and you can tell if it's real or not, and some things you can look at and you can tell if they're going to really pursue in whatever they're trying to promise or say that they're going to work towards, or anything that they're actually working on or have worked on. And then you can also determine and tell, because you can read people's spirits and body language and the way that they talk and everything like that, and determine, you know, their honesty. You can see if they're being truthful or not. And yes, the media is a big deal, and you can really, like, it shouldn't be a thing that for you to sit there and put all of your trust inside of the media, um, because they're trying to focus on getting everyone under control, and you can't get everyone under control. Some people are in control of themselves, if not a lot of people. um, but it's just, if you put all of your trust in the media or in the government, then what benefit would you have that is going to allow you to prosper the way that God wants you to prosper? Because it's clearly understood that some of the things that the government is having everyone to abide by is not something that their God, whoever they worship, would be proud of. And I definitely wouldn't want to consider putting my trust in the government 100%, because it all falls down to the decision that you make. It all makes sense when you are able to set aside certain things that will enable you to grow. And the government can only give you something if you allow it to be given to you that's going to help you in the long run. If it's not going to help you in the long run, then don't allow that to be influencing you to change your mind about something that your heart doesn't feel like it's going to benefit you or anyone around you that you really care about. I just couldn't see myself continuing to, like, I couldn't see myself continuing to vote because the last time I voted was like 10 years ago. And the reason why I stopped voting, I said this in a previous video, I stopped voting because, they would promise us higher pay. And I just didn't understand it. I've seen a lot of things saying $15 an hour, $20 an hour, and I'm like, this is crazy. I just don't see this. I've a lot of promises within housing authority. Yeah, they're still showing favoritism for people with families. What about people without any family? What about people who have been, abused at home or mentally abused or just any other type of way, and they really don't feel like being around people, but they are a people person and they respect people in real life. So it's almost like take the best of me or just don't have me at all. So I have a right to stay at home by myself and still respect other people and live a righteous lifestyle. Like, I still have that right, but you take it away from me by having me not having certain privileges as other people because you decided to determine if, I should be able to qualify for affordable housing based on me not unlocking my love so that it will not be harmed or distracted from me prospering in life and for me fulfilling the life that God wants me to have, a happy lifestyle. Because no one would think about that. No one thinks about, if you don't have any children, then, there's nothing wrong with you, or there's something wrong with you or something like that. It's just not fair because, what your company needs, what you need can be in that person that has no children. What you really need could be in that person that has no children at all. And once you disable services for that person, then what you need, you won't have. You try to find it in someone else, but if you help this person, then that person would be helping you in the long run. You don't want that person just be homeless on the streets and not go anywhere. Then where are you going to find your help? Where are you going to prosper? Your biggest breakthrough or deal breaker can come from the help of a person that can change the world if you allow them to be respectful, because they're going to respect you anyway. So if you're disabling a respectful person, a home, certain services, then you're disabling respect. And that's something that people need to understand. So, I mean, that's not the only thing that's, that people put their trust in, but they put their trust in a lot of things. So I left Housing Authority. I left Housing Authority trying to go find me a place to live, depending on them to accept my application and read through it and call me in. And, they want qualifications on a piece of paper, just like certain jobs that want you to go to school for certain such. But just like I made the conversation about the Donald Trump signing the executive order about skills over college work, college degrees, it was pretty much similar to the same thing, the same type of movement I had to make. I had to leave the system and find my own system within myself. Now, yes, I am still using YouTube, which is a system, but, I'm not going to put all of my trust and all of my focus in someone else who doesn't even know me. I'm not going to do that, because if a system understood the gospel well enough, we will all have a fair, equal chance of utilizing resources. There wouldn't be no, you have a child, you don't have a child, we're getting ready to see who deserves to be homeless, who deserves to have a house. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? The person who can help you This person may know God. This person may know the gospel that can change your life, and you're disabling this person because this person over here decided to just have a whole bunch of kids. And there's nothing wrong with kids because there's a blessing. The Bible says that it is a blessing, okay, to have children. Yes, but people need to realize that we are all children, no matter what. No matter how old you get, you are a child of God, and you will be respected by that single person as if you're a child of God because they are righteous. Now, some people who are single are a little bit, giving out characteristics that may not seem as righteous as other people. But when you have a single person who is righteous and knows how to respect others and they respect themselves and they are easy to work with and they're hardworking people, why would you disable services for that person? Oh, because they don't have a child. Okay, let me go try to find someone to have a baby with, and hopefully they aren't as out of order and not know the gospel like I do. Yeah, it's about money, and then it's not about money. It's about keeping your finances up. Then it's not about it. But how about giving me a home so that I can become financially stable, and then maybe I can think about having a family for myself. But I'm not going to be financially stable if you don't allow me to save my money in a house where it's affordable housing so I can start at one position and work my way up. So you disable the services for God because you allow a system, a governmental system, to control you. So I would definitely stay away from a system like that. You can depend on the system just a little bit, but most of your services need to come from within you. And some people have a hard time believing that because they're so informed with the old structured system that is the best system for them to follow. And I don't knock anyone down. I don't make anyone look bad because I was one of those people who believed in the system, who trusted the government, who feared the government. I feared me not going to work because I was going to be someone that people would look down upon. I feared myself not finishing school because people will look down upon me. I feared myself not getting the education in church about the gospel because I feared people not believing that I am someone that they should believe in. I feared not paying taxes because I thought that I would go to prison for not filing my taxes, even though I worked for a month that whole entire year. I feared the system, and a lot of people fear the system, and it's not anybody's fault. It's the system's fault for always broadcasting and advertising that instead of broadcasting that it's okay to step away from a system and do whatever you want just as long as you don't try to hurt anyone else. It's like they were already saying that, but really they focus more about putting fear into someone's heart about doing the complete opposite, which was not doing everything they needed to do for themselves, but everything that they needed to do would have to be involving with the government, and it included putting all the trust in the government. And it's like, and then some people say, well, we're not trying to tell you to put all your trust in the government. Well, what are you trying to tell me? Because it seems like you want me to go to school and get a college degree in order to work at this job when I already have the skills. It seems like you want me to work nonstop and not miss any holidays and continue to work every day and not go on a vacation, because I have to go to work and stand on my feet for hours all day and waste all of my time when I could be using that for something else. It seems like you wanted me to do that because you made the American system. You made the American system determined other people's daily lifestyle. And luckily, some people was able to escape because they had people in their money in their family who was already financially stable, and then you had some people in their family who decided to be lucky and they were able to get a big shot. Either they won a lottery, or they won a settlement for the rest of their life because they got injured. Um, or they just became lucky and they became a star, famous somewhere for being a singer or an actor or something like that. And it changed their financial lifestyle because of that. But how can you expect anyone to become financially stable and have a great lifestyle when the government is designed to keep people in a circle that's going to allow them to do the same thing over and over again, and it's not going to allow anyone to get anywhere far. People are traveling, people are going overseas, people are not going to work every day because they're making money while they're sleeping at night because they have like their own business somewhere. And a lot of people are just basically not happy. They feel like they are happy by just going to work every single day, but a lot of people really aren't happy. And a lot of people feel like that their happiness now is the happiness that God wants them to have, and you're only happy when you know God within. And that is true. You can be happy wherever you are. But we don't want you all, and I don't want you all, to be brainwashed into thinking that your reality of going to work every day till 9 to 5 and repeating the process over and over again, and not being able to buy the things that you want, and you still having a car note. Who wants a car note? You want to own the car. Who wants a car note? You want to own that car. You want to not pay that. You don't want to continue to pay the car note every single month when you can use that money for something else totally different. It's really simple. So I really would suspect people to understand that how much they are able to do if they would take the time to think about themselves and understand that yes, the government is designed to keep order, but it's okay for you to be your own government and take the lead and be orderly the best way that you can within yourself. I mean, you already are doing it every day. So it doesn't mean that you have to continue to take a system that was designed for everyone to follow and then look at people on the television screen like Michael Jackson or Beyonce or Usher or all these other famous people who decided to leave a system and to go into the career field that accepted their skills and their talent, and now they're financially stable. Now they have all the cars that they own. Now they have the house that they own. Now they have the clothes that they want to wear. Now they're completely healthy all the way. Now they're not stressing. Now they're getting the sleep that they want again. Now they're living a happy lifestyle. You can do that right now instead of continuing to wait and not do anything about it. But before the internet was really popular, God knows what those people had to go through, who had to do everything in person. But now the internet has made it a lot easier. So if you wanted to start your own business or you wanted to get out of a 9 to 5 job, you can do that without a face-to-face contact. Therefore, you can get your rest that your body needs, and you'll be able to thrive and be more focused and gain more information and how the secrets of the society is operating, because there is no secret to talent. Talent is talent. It's there. You cannot hide talent. You can by going to work every day to work your 9 to 5 job and putting all your skills in that, and then therefore you're slowing down your process of trying to become successful. But some people get lucky. But I want you to know that you can get lucky right now by separating yourself from a government system, okay? Not necessarily like separate yourself, because you can't really separate yourself from a government system unless you decide to go on the ground, have a family, and never get them registered ever, 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 ever. Like literally. Never take him to the doctor, never do anything like that, never take him to school. Nobody knows who your child is. Like, unless you're like one of those type of people who can go in the woods and wipe yourself off the face of this earth and never ever ever, drive a car, get pulled over by have a license or anything like that whenever the cop runs your license plate or your tag. As long as if you can escape the system like that, then you are good. If you can go overseas like that, you are really good. But I want you all to focus and realize how much of a difference you can make when you decide to take control over your life and not let the government control you. I will be back, and this was my second video of the day, and I appreciate you all for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys later.